people, Deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, man.
Come on, Ian, people, Deluded, I'm back again. One sec, because I can see that it's not the actual mic I want to use. I think we are. Yeah, we're back now. Sums up Arsenal this season, or sums up our last game. Topsy-turvy, things going wrong, people. But usually, I'm normally, bringing out videos and content earlier. It's just the only reason I'm doing this late is because I've been all day slaving away to bring out a tactical video to come out after this for you lot. I went over, the isms and schisms around Mikel Arteta, around Fulham, and plenty of other talking points. Don't worry, I've got you lot covered as usual. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and of course, good night. If you're new here, hit the sub button. If you're a regular, big up you lot. Make sure you're smashing the like button. How are we feeling, man? Now, I don't want to sound too reactionary because, our season's been a bit topsy-turvy. We've been winning games, scoring goals, and it does feel like losing to Fulham. A lot of people who, for me, can't think for themselves and just do the emotional thing have kind of just flipped. Now, a lot of us, whether we've won, lost, or drawn, have shared the same and echoed the same concerns before and after, every game we've played, and really and truly going into this season. Now, we're at where we're at. I could talk about the summer. I could talk about hopefulness for January. I could talk about a missed opportunity. And, we are in Artetagatory. I can't even pronounce it. I'll expand on that in a second. I saw it on social media. And I've always said, I think Arsenal, we engineer our own issues, man. We engineer our own issues, really and truly. Half the games we've dropped points. Yeah, there's been red cards and referee decisions, but we shank ourselves in the foot. We know we struggle against slow blocks. I'm sure a lot of you have heard me say numerous times in relation to Fulham, etc. Yeah, you have performances or you play like that as a result of obviously Mikel Arteta and the players, but mainly because of what you did or didn't do in the January market. I'm not trying to scapegoat anyone, and not any player really can say they really played well, but you've got Declan Rice playing as an 8, kind of running around. Unpopular opinion, I think he had a good game. You've got Jorginho and Partey, who are not really dynamic per se. Partey, we know he inverts, he's not going to overlap. We don't really move the ball faster, and for me, I've expanded on this in the tactical video, but you have two options when you're playing a low block and a deep block unit. Credit to Fulham, you either take a bit of a risk and stretch the team as much as you can and gamble a bit, but you need dynamism, or you've got players in the pocket. I'd implore you all to go and look at the only goal Fulham scored, and go and look at Smith Rowe's involvement in that. And again, I don't want to ruin the video to come out, but Fulham, you did your thing, but it feels like we engineer our own issues. The drop off is too big. Now Timbo is playing as an inverted left back. He looks better at right back, admittedly. I think it's more him being tactically told to do anything, but for large periods of that game, second half, he did his thing, but not offering anything on the ball. Gabriel, obviously, a set piece king, great defender, levels above Kivior, but Kivior's playing within himself. And I'm not doubting that Kivior, he can pass the ball when there's no pressure. There's a correlation between when Kivior gets a run in the side and that, really. But he's not Gabriel. He's not consistently going to get on the ball. So it's almost like we're playing with 9 players. We all know if our right-hand side is not doing anything, we're in trouble already. Then you've got the way Fulham are playing. Jorginho's out of the game from there. Left-hand side, there's so many issues there, whether it's Trossard or Martinelli. Now, I did think Martinelli needed to come on. I did think Martinelli made an impact. But again, Martinelli's offside. Not really gonna get at him for being offside, even though you shouldn't. I think people are frustrated because he's offside and we deny the last minute winner, but also it's frustration boiling over with Martinelli and his inconsistencies. And then we didn't wake up here overnight. You got Raheem Sterling just really and truly just collecting a pay packet with no disrespect intended to him. Gabriel Jesus, Martinelli, Leandro Trossard. It's like lucky dip. You don't know what you're gonna get game in, game out. You've brought on Ethan, and no disrespect to Ethan, but he can't get in the game. Odegaard is out the game. Jorginho is out the game. Thomas Partey is doing little 1s and 2s, but that's where it stops. Saka as well. My point of saying those players is these are the players that make the difference. And if they're out the game, we're not getting 3 points. We don't have a plan B, both tactically and actually in terms of personnel. We don't have any real individual brilliance. Kai Havertz, you're doing your thing, but you're limited in that position. And for me with Mikel Arteta, yes, we could have went the other way and just fully attacked and ended up losing the game. But for me, Arteta, cool. You want to do the inverted left back thing and the inverted right back and all those kind of smart things. I'm all for it. And this guy's an 8, this guy's a 6. You're pressing like this. But sometimes I think you need to switch it up. Now, I'm not saying bringing on Tierney would have been the best or worst decision. But for me, as I kind of said, in terms of, disrupting the organization that Fulham have, and I can't give Marco Silva and Fulham enough credit. Bring on Tierney, organic left back. Let's get some overlaps going. And then you've got the Odegaards, the Kais, who off the ball, they might make late runs into the box, but that's neither here nor there, essentially, man. It is what it is. As I said, I believe at like 9:15, that video will come out, so set your notification bells on this. After this stream, it'll take you straight over there. Don't forget, Wednesday we're watching Arsenal versus Monaco. Tomorrow you lot voted for it, so we're going to watch it. Atalanta against Real Madrid, people. So content and more content for you lot. But yeah, big up yourselves. Keep your thoughts coming before we waffle some more, really. Big up yourself, Nathan. Inner Circle, part of the furniture. In fact, cut the track before I read Inner Circle's comment. Disrespecting you a bit, Nathan. Why are you not a mod? There you go, man. With great power comes great responsibility. Welcome to the gang, man. You're a moderator now. You're always here. You should be that. But, you know, from one newly mod to an old school one, you know, part of the furniture. I'm not at all surprised by how our season is going. Gave, I think you mean gave up hope, I think you mean, and we just enjoy success if it comes. I don't expect, and that's the thing for me as well. Like, people, as a content creator, people just want me to come out and say mad things for no reason. I'm never going to be that. If they're, you know, it's almost like pretend I'm forecasting the weather. If you're watching me and I know it's going to rain, why am I going to tell you to wear your flip-flops? It don't make sense. Realistically, this season, if it was an album like a musician, it'd be titled Fine Margins. We went into the season knowing fine margins. And for me, we shoot ourselves on the pitch with the numerous examples I said before. Obviously, off it as well. Yes, you can try, but if, you know, try and only go so far. We are not a prime City side, Barcelona side, Real Madrid side, where these excuses, and I'm not saying I can wheel off players to sign, but when we sit here and say, oh, the market isn't good, other teams have found a way. Other teams haven't. We want to be those who haven't. Oh, how's Kai Havertz going to play? Because some of you that are slagging off Kai Havertz were saying not to sign a striker for that very reason. We need specialist profiles. You know, Arsenal fans turn into mathematicians talking about Liverpool and City. They're going to drop points. And they will. And Chelsea. But we will also. So we need to be able to take advantage. And for me, I've said defensively, we've fallen off a cliff. Final third, you know, the only thing I like is set pieces. The set piece coach, you're earning your bread and butter. Take that, but let's focus on open play, which isn't happening. For one, defensively, we've fallen off a cliff. We're not playing to our full potential in the final third. Whatever we and me have to say about Martinelli, Bukayo Saka, Odegaard, Kai Havertz, Trossard, Jesus, some of these players will F off and go somewhere else and look half decent. And regardless of what we feel about them or whatever, we should be creating chances. These are not bad players, really and truly. They're kind of temperamental, and we kind of saw this last season. So, yeah, we're not playing to our final potential in the final third. The whole team has dropped off a cliff defensively, shot ourselves in the summer market, really and truly. And you can see the drop-off when players are missing. Yes, every team is going to struggle, but we don't have a base level of performance. You know, if Odegaard's out, if Gabriel's out, Saliba's out, this one out, that guy out, even fucking hell, pardon my language, Kai Havertz, because then you're relying on Jesus. We're in issues in that regards. Away form's been atrocious. You know, away form has been atrocious. I think the maximum shots we've had away from home have been 7. Now, of course, there's been red cards, etc. And for me, I would say game management. Now, I'm being extremely harsh with this one, but the same things that have led to our demise when we've won games, you know, against Aston Villa, against Southampton, against Leicester, you know, granted, over a 38-game season, that's going to happen. You're going to have to wing it. You might not be good for 45 minutes and you get away with it. You're allowed a discount of that, but it's happening far too often. How many games this season have you said, and I know it's an impossible task, but how many games this season have we sat here and said, yeah, you know what, we're brilliant? For me personally, Sporting Lisbon, I'll give you lot that. Yeah, second half conceded and we needed a goal. Cool. To a degree, West Ham, but we went 4 goals up and we were still a bit naive. It's about fine margins. I don't care what Arsenal are good at because we know what we're good at. It's about how we be great. It's the game management. We still got that temperamental stuff about us. You saw that against Villa. You saw it against Leicester. You saw it against West Ham. You saw it against Southampton. You saw it against Liverpool in the second half, whether to stick or twist. I will kind of cut the team an excuse for the City game, but you could argue, you know, if a red card doesn't happen, or better yet, how we started that game. These are the fine margins we knew we needed to go into. And that's before we talk about players with the X factor that can just get you out of jail, because I do think it's a twofold. As much as it's about Mikel Arteta needing to change up things, I'm sure if you were to ask Jose Mourinho, Pep Guardiola, Arsene Wenger, Jurgen Klopp, any decent manager, Carlo, I'm sure they've got tactics and whatnot. And in the same way, I think tactics can bail you out. Sometimes you need your players to just make something happen. Arteta's got to give them the license to do that, but just bail you out. We ain't really got guys with magic, or the ones that have the magic. If they're not on it, it is what it is. How many consistent passes do we see? Granted, I don't have the statistics. Can't tell you how many times Saliba passed to Partey or Kivior to Timber and all of those kind of things. But to the eyes, the only thing we see on a consistent basis is Bukayo Saka and Martin Odegaard. You might get a 1-2 Kai Havertz here and there, but I think Partey was one of our better players yesterday. We just shooting ourselves in the foot, man. And there's no excuses really and truly, because we're making this thing. Before you talk about how Chelsea have turned their season around, or what Arnslot is doing under Liverpool, or if City will come back or not, take nothing away from these clubs. Isolated to us, we shoot ourselves in the foot, and every player is in that team because of Mikel Arteta. Granted, I think if we have Tomiyasu, maybe the Fulham goal don't happen. If we had Benjamin White, Partey plays in midfield, I think we needed players with courage yesterday, which I know people get onto Calafiori, but Calafiori, we all know Zinchenko's got a lot of problems, and hindsight's a wonderful thing. It's always the players that are missing that we talk about. But watching that game twice, I was thinking, right, you know what? Maybe if Zinchenko was there inverted, we'd be all right. But, I've said it. Like, I really want to win the league. I'm sure all of you lot are the same. But you need a lot of variables to fall for us, really. We haven't maximized everything at this football club that we can. As soon as we've got 2 seasons in the Champions League, I think there's a lot of complacency, really and truly, and a lot of naivety, to the point where, again, I don't know who's going to win the league title, but if you look at Arnslot, fresh to the Prem, Maresca, fresh to the Prem, Mikel Arteta, you're still young as a manager, and I think you've got aura. I think you're a good tactician. I think a lot of good things about you, but the conversation has shifted from, and big up you for the rebuild, it's shifted from that to, Prems, champs, getting us over the line, maximizing everything. Because if a lot of the talking points that I'm saying and you lot are saying and we've been talking about, if these weren't a thing and teams were just better than us, then it is what it is. But we are shooting ourselves in the foot. And to go back to the Arnslot comment I was making, and Maresca, experience can be overrated, but it can't be overstated. Forgive me if I'm wrong. Maresca was managing at Leicester. He won a league title. He's worked in City's academy. There's probably 1-2 things that he's learned there. Arnslot, fresh to the Prem, but significantly more experience. Now, how much does that cost Mikel Arteta? And also Arteta, regardless of what I've just said, you've been here long enough. You flirted. You flirted with the Prem. Unfortunately, we're 4-play FC. We don't climax. It's like, forgive me to the women out there, but it's like, birds and the bees. It's like if a lady takes a shine to you, you buy her a drink, you're doing your thing, you go back to hers, you're kissing, you're touching, you're touchy-feely. She says, go get the condom. I don't know about that. It's Bareback FC over here, allegedly. But get the condom, you're about to pull it in, and then all of a sudden, they just, like, what's going on? You're tapping it. It's what are you not going up against? So you're not clotting. That is an analogy of to how our season works. There's different highs and lows. Ultimately, we're the bridesmaids and we don't get over the line, man. But it is what it is. Love the club. Psh, it is what it is, man. Like, it is what it is, man. But yeah. It won't if we keep having windows like the last one. Effing Moreno is not even ahead of Jorginho. But hey, and even that, hindsight's a wonderful thing. But could you have played, Lewis Skelly at left back, put Timber at right back? Obviously, Partey would still be in midfield. Could you have even, I don't think you should have done it, but should you have put Declan Rice at centre half? Could you have brought on Tierney? Should you have started him? Obviously, injuries and these things play a part. But this is what I mean. Regardless of who is here and who is not here, Arteta, you've got a squad, you've got to use it. There's no point Sterling being here, really and truly. There's no point. There's really no point of Raheem Sterling being here because you're not using him. I'm not saying Sterling is the be-all and end-all, but I mean, it's a man's birthday and he's still not getting minutes. Like, the only ones off the bench is Trossard by default, obviously Martinelli by default. Ethan's forced his way into it greatly, but we can't expect too much for his talent as he is. And every time he goes out there, like with Fulham, for me, it's not that you don't have a part to play in the game, but I don't want you to feel any pressure. It's all irrelevant. Go and learn the tricks and trades of the game. Just go out and play. It's lucky dip. Jesus not doing the business. Sterling not doing the business. Martinelli not doing the business. Trossard, different highs and lows. He's been villains and heroes. Kai Havertz got us to a point. You need an upgrade on that. Not to say to alienate him. Saka is the only one. Odegaard's the only one. Beyond that, it is what it is. And there's too many unanswered questions. And that's before we talk about defensively. What the whole team, what's gone on defensively? Yeah, you're gonna concede goals. This is the be and end all. But we've fallen off a cliff, even when everybody is fit. We have fallen off a cliff. And I'm not just talking about the defenders, our whole defensive outlook. So if you're not necessarily a great defensive side anymore, you're definitely not a great team in the final third. I think all of us could sit here and talk about midfield. What are we doing? What is the DNA? What is the system? I don't know. I don't have the answers. I'm just a fan. If we were always going to draw more, We were always going to draw more games with the recruitment we did. Needed a striker first and foremost before Calafiori and Moreno. This is all the games where the system isn't enough to get us over the line. Exactly. And for me, it's the fall off, bro. Like, I'm not trying to make this about Kivio, right? But you lose a lot with Gabriel Magalhaes not being there. You lose a leader. You lose someone with courage. Obviously, not to keep talking about set pieces and corners, but you lose a threat from there. And you lose someone that is on playing ball, if that makes sense. Like, if Gabriel was there, I still think there's issues with the left-hand side, but there might have been a bit more, really. Kivio ain't got that. And I don't want him, under no pressure. Of course, he's a Polish international. He's played in 2 top 5 European divisions. Of course, you can pass the ball. But on a consistent basis, really? And I'm not saying he's hiding. I think it's a thing where Mikel Arteta and the players, bro, Kivio's not here for that. You're here because we ain't got no one else. It is what it is. I promise you, watching that game again, I'll be real. It's like playing with 8 or 9 players because they've taken Jorginho out the game. The rest of the usual suspects, it's square pegs in round holes. Kivio's not bringing nothing on a consistent basis to the table. Timber's non-existent on the ball in the first half. Trossard, you're irrelevant from there. You've got Declan Rice making that run. Honestly, Declan Rice is doing like 3 rows yesterday, watching the game again. Whether you think he's worth the money or not, he's doing that. Where we're expecting, and of course, the way the system is, people have to do things, but we're asking Martin Odegaard to win duels, and we're surprised. Like, big up Martin Odegaard. He's a wonder guard, but you're not there to be a strong man. We're asking Declan Rice to create beyond taking dead balls. There's issues in that. There's serious issues. And you sign up for performances like that when you don't do what needs to be done in the market. Of course, I can say we tried, and maybe if they told me what they tried to do, I might look at it differently. But fundamentally, if you try to win a game or not, you get question marks or praise. If you lot in your 9 to 5s and me on YouTube, if we try to do a good job but don't necessarily do it, what's going on? So it is what it is. Our recruitment was so bad, I actually can't even describe it. Moreno starting ahead of Jorginho. I'm cool with Moreno, and I look at our recruitment in a twofold. I'm mainly onto the club because you're not getting level raises. You're taking squad players and trying to make them first team regulars. I like Moreno. I think I said you're a floor raiser. You're not a curtain raiser. This is the role you need to be in. But you needed another 8. Even back to when we signed Rice, we needed a more creative man. The Kai Havertz thing didn't work. We're winging it with Kai in the 8 now. That's where we're at, really and truly. Calafiori, I'm not against that because we needed that. But at the end of the day, we needed to do everything. We always are a couple pennies short of a pound. Always, man. If we have a striker, we don't have a cam. If we got a cam and a striker, we don't have a 6. If we got all of that, we don't have an 8. If we've got all of that, we don't have a right back. We got a right back, and 2 centre halves, we ain't got a left back. We got the whole of the back 4, we ain't got a goalie. We ain't got a striker. And it's jarring, man. It's jarring. That's more than anything for me. And for me, you were seeing the same things. Like, we're more hopeful than anything. And I'm talking about the club, not necessarily our fans. We're back on the roller coaster again. Strap up, folks. Boy, I haven't been convinced that we're going to win the league since the transfer window. Hopefully, we can get a cup. Dreaming for the champs. I mean, dreaming now. Wake up. You need a lot of luck in the Champions League. You need the football gods to bless us. It's out of your hands in the Prem. Like, 14, 15 games now. It could look very different come game week 30. But A, Arsenal need to take their points. B, you need Liverpool to fall off. Liverpool haven't kicked a ball this weekend and they're laughing, really. I don't, respectfully to Chelsea, again, Maresca might be doing dark arts, but anyone connected to Chelsea, regardless where they are on the table, they play that down immediately. If you're Liverpool and you're not thinking this mind games, you're like, all right, cool. For this season, them man are little fishing this. They're not serious. City making it very difficult. Arsenal, 4-play FC. This is what's going to happen. And the thing is, I'm not saying, like, some fans are just happy to be part of the ride, Some fans are just happy to be on the journey. Like, and I'm not going to lie, I like Arteta. I think you're a good manager. I think there's a lot of genius elements. I big you up for the rebuild, but I don't love you more than the club. And I think there's this weird, very weird cult-like following. You need to be able to separate Mikel Arteta and Arsenal Football Club. If Arteta does great, like anyone in life, I'm the first one, and I believe you should be praised. If you do shaky things, which are self-inflicted, there should be question marks. And for me, of course, I didn't come up through La Masia Academy. I didn't work with Pep. I didn't play Premier League football. I'll tell you, more about football than me. You got the coaching badges and all of them. So you're going to have to forgive me for being naive. But it's like sometimes it's like we have one hole in the squad, and Arteta in the pursuit of fixing that one hole, there's now 4 others, really. So, oh, no, man. Like, we're just going to have to enjoy set piece FC. 1-2 wins against the top 6, little runs of form here and there. And that's about it. And then we're back in this scenario of, this scenario. Obviously, things have changed, and I'm taking it without context. But a lot of people that slagged off Arsene Wenger, top 4 League Cup, this ain't good enough, that ain't good enough. What are you going to praise Arteta for? Because now that you've remixed it and said, yo, bring that home. Don't get twisted. You need to salvage some of the season. You got a new deal before a ball was kicked. Your coaching staff are getting new deals. Players are getting new deals. You're getting the luxury of signing or not signing certain things. So that tells me you're here for a while, whether I like it or don't like it. There needs to be pressure. Managing this football club is a privilege. Managing in the Premier League is a privilege. This club is beautiful. And we're shooting ourselves in the foot. And what is more jarring than anything is, there's a lot of lip service connected to the club, and you show us enough to be somewhat positive and somewhat, I'm not with the blind optimism thing, but to the more naive fans, they start to believe like, yo, we're the best in the league, we can win a Prem, this and that, only for it to crumble. And we go on the same circuit again. And a lot of you fall for the nonsense that the big journalists say and the propaganda, the stats without context. There's some Arsenal fans that are weird and getting this weird thing and equate having possession, having the most shots, dominating the game with that being enough to win. No, put the ball in the back of the net. Of course, bad days happen. It is not good enough to have a decent start to the game, which I think we did against Fulham for 10 minutes. Stay with me, 10 minutes. What happened in the 11th? And then you're not asking any real questions. Let's be honest. Yes, Saka scored. It was offside because of Martinelli. How long did it take for that to happen? Great start to the second half, but how long did that take to happen? You got Partey. I'm not even criticizing Partey. Partey, you need to work on your heading. Cannot score from his header. Saliba, before he evidently scored, had a half-decent chance. Declan Rice trying to hit it with his left foot. We're counting on one hand these opportunities. And I saw twice, where Saliba's played a diag to Trossard and one where Odegaard's played a lovely ball to Kai and Kai is offside. Our top goal scorers for 14, 15 games now have 5 goals. They have 5 goals. What's going on? They have 5 goals. That's not sustainable. It's unacceptable, really and truly. Let's be real. It's unacceptable. And when you go and look and beneath the hood, and you look at why for that, you look beneath it, people. We're not up there for big chances created. Yeah, to the more naive football fan, if you were to go on the Premier League website and look at big chances missed, you might laugh at Haaland, at Salah, etc. But football's a law of averages. If you're having big chances missed, that means you're typically getting there. When Aubameyang was fighting for the Golden Boot, Haaland, Salah, Harry Kane, obviously stats weren't really relevant like that of the days of Thierry Henry, etc. You can imagine they'd be there. This season was entitled fine margins. And it's like we haven't taken heed of that. So I can, pardon my language, bitch about the summer, rightly so, but it's gone. Can be hopeful towards Jan. I'm not with that. But I mean, just ride the highs and lows, man. Just whatever, man. If Odegaard gets locked up, we offer nothing. Exactly. We know. Lock down the right-hand side, half your job against Arsenal's done. The left-hand side, not bringing nothing. And some of it is down to the players, 100%. There's been injuries. The players haven't been good enough. But a lot of it's down to tactically what the manager's doing. One thing I admire about Arteta, I do like how you're a madman. You leave nothing to chance. You think about the team, because there were elements I liked about Fulham. You stifled them. You had them living dangerously and whatnot. The majority of the game was played in their half. But we don't have a plan when it goes left. And fundamentally, the only thing that happens is what paints the narrative of winning the game. You're not creating enough chances. At what point in that game? Yeah, we scored twice. One was disallowed. At what point did Leno put under pressure? All Arsenal fans know Leno can't catch a ball to save his life. Of course, I'm exaggerating. At what point did we go, bloody hell, Leno, what a save? Leno should be getting match of the day analysis and that. He probably will for that long ball he did. And obviously, Kivio got done by Jimenez, etc., etc. It's peak. Boy. And I'm being harsh, and a lot of it is without context. But at one point you're leading against Brighton, you're leading against City, you're leading against Liverpool. There might even be a next one. Did you get anything? Did you get what? No, you did get Chelsea as well. Did you get what you needed to get? And these things happen, but it's happening far too frequently. This season is a wake-up call for those fans that live in a bubble, for the club, because, a lot of things worked for us. Of course, Tomiyasu and Partey, them man were injured last season. But from the very moment this football club has kicked a ball this year, there's been injuries. We've had to deal with it. This is the reality of football. And we've been living in this bubble, this kumbaya thing. Football is not like that. The only time football, if you're trying to talk about winning a title, is when it's beautiful, is in May, when you're lifting it. Other than that, it's harsh. You're going to have moments where you doubt yourself. You're going to have more positive moments. And again, you look at, there's several players that are experienced in this team, whether it's age, even the young ones. Some of you have been a part of this, but you've got a quote unquote experienced but naive bunch of lads. Their manager as well. Say what you want about Chelsea. They've got, young players as well, but they're making it happen. Liverpool, there's a degree of experience there as well. We're shooting ourselves in the foot, making an impossible task somehow even more difficult, man. And I love it. There's very few players in that team that I don't rate. But again, if we're just trying to do this top 4 thing, get to the latter stages of trophies, hope you can win a cup, this is good enough. If you're looking at the cold-hearted needing to win a league title, nobody loves Martinelli more than me. You're a squad player, and unless I wake up and you look like what's looking like a flute now the last 2 years, there's too many players you can't gamble on. There's too many unanswered questions. How many players can you bet on for the 38 games are going to give you a sustained run of form? Of course, some man have to come in the team. We might just need you to come off the bench. You might have 3-4 starts. You do a thing. Obviously, we know this, innit, people? But how many you look in that team and you say, yeah, you're going to do the business? Saliba, even if they make mistakes, Saliba, Gabriel for me. Raya's not perfect. And I think, Defo, not blaming you, but you could have done better against Fulham. You're one of them. Odegaard's one of them. Saka is one of them. I reckon I'll throw Rice into that. You're being misprofiled. I'll throw Rice into that. Partey, if you can stay fit, we can do something with you. Other than that, and big up Timber, Calafiori, and these guys there. Other than that, you're scratching your head. I would throw Tommy Yasu there, but you can't stay fit. Big up Ben White as well. Ben White would be thrown in there. You could do a thing with him. But that's 38 games. I'll probably say that max 8-9 players. There's 38 games, however much in all the cups. Games are coming every 4 days now. We're still in every cup. Well, we hope we're still fighting for the Premier League. We've got a quarter-final to come up, etc. So the players, there's too many unanswered questions. And again, if you're going to praise the manager for how he's built this and done that, then you have to look at this. Because this season, the gloves are off. Big up you for the rebuild. It's irrelevant now. It's not irrelevant because you can't forget the past, but it's irrelevant. You knew it was about fine margins. The one time City fall off, and we're not top of the pop. Now, yeah, nothing to scream about top of the pops in December, but for me, away from that, it's about how we're playing. How many times in your heart as Arsenal fans, I'm not saying we've been rubbish every game, but in your heart, how many times can you say, you know what, boys, superb this season, really and truly, really, and especially away from home? What the hell is good? The performances away from home, not solid defensively. 7 shots max that we've probably had. How many times? So the little things that there were to praise about last season, there's been evident regression. There's been no progression in other regards. Doesn't look like, it's, if this Premier League fighting for the league thing was a fire, surely if you put your hand in fire once, you might be a kid. The first time you put your hand in fire, which would probably be described as the first year we didn't expect to go for title, right? If you don't know what fire is, you burn your hand. Okay, it hurts. Second time, don't put your hand in it. We're not learning. And again, life is harsh. You will keep learning a lesson the harshest way, the hardest of ways, until you take heed. So for me, I actually don't believe this with Mikel Arteta or the players. I think the club as a whole, you man are just cool to you're in the champs. You're part of the chasing pack. You've got the propaganda that's gonna, and I'm not saying there's not stuff to be positive about, but they'll spin the propaganda, whether it's the transfer market, we're on the hunt to do this and that, bring out them positive statistics because people don't like the truth. The truth is there's a lot to be optimistic about this football club. There's a decent foundation, there's a decent bunch of clubs, but you're here. Success is here. And in between that, it feels like hell. You lot don't want to run through that. You lot don't want to, because we wouldn't be having certain conversations. And again, more than the points, it's the performances. I know for a 38-game period, you can't be amazing for 90 minutes in every game, 100%. But there's too many games where we're to in and from him. We're good for 20 minutes. We're here for that. And I've seen it too often. Old habits die hard. And we're learning this the hard way, man. I love all the players. When I say these guys need to go, it's for the betterment of Arsenal. Most of these players aren't at the level for various reasons. Martinelli lost his composure as the game went on. That's why he's in all the news. Yeah, not for me. Ed gone. You're right, man. He's a man shouting and throwing balls and doing nonsense. They looked at Sesko and heard he was staying, and that was it. It's annoying. At least try look at a plan B. I mean, cool. If Sesko's your first choice target, cool. If Nico Williams is what you want, great. But if they're not rolling, bring someone. Like I said, I'm not a scout. I can't tell you who to sign. But let's not act like some of these positions that we need addressing haven't been there for years. And again, if we were treble winners like you've seen City, if we had, Kylian Mbappe, Vinicius, Jude Bellingham, Tchouameni, all them guys that Real Madrid have, we're doing a watch along for that, by the way, I would hear it. But have we? Have we? Have we got that? And I'm not saying anyone here, but a lot of people are hypocrites. This is why if you stand for nothing, you fall for anything. Because a lot of people were chatting shit in the summer, and I'm not dissing Kai Havertz. I like Kai. Unfortunately, Kai, you're not a man. You're not a traditional striker. We can do a thing with you in the squad. The issue is if with Kai Havertz, there's no other striker now. You're relying on Gabriel Jesus, who's somehow falling off a cliff and's fucking shit. Pardon my French. I love the guy. Like you don't know, you lot get onto me all the time, but we've got to be honest. We've got to be honest. Make things happen. You either make it happen or there's excuses. And regardless, you lot indirectly told me not you lot, but the club in the summer, once the market closed, we have enough. That doesn't mean I think the club feel they've got all areas addressed, but that you're telling me we've got enough. When things are going great. But when things go to worse, when there's no Gabriel, when there's no Odegaard, when there's no Saliba, when Saka can't do it, if Kai gets injured or anything, when this player's back fit, when that player's injured, we've got enough. Prove it. Because the only saving grace is on a Wenger thing. I don't believe it, but until it's mathematically impossible, boy. And some of the Arsenal fans don't learn because it's not quite the context is of Spurs playing City last season, but some of you are back saying, "Oh, Spurs, I need you to do something for me at Chelsea." Fuck all of that, man. We never threatened Fulham in open play. They set back and had an easy game. Exactly, Fulham, bro. Again, I don't want to ruin the vid. Marco Silva. They did very well. Do you know who's not going to get enough praise for yesterday? Iwobi. I beg you lot watch the game. Iwobi's playing like a right back and a right winger. They're almost playing a back five. They're doubling up where they need to. They're not giving much space away. Arsenal are going to move it from side to side, huff and puff. Obviously, they grew into the game. Even after they got the goal, they grew into the game. They got the goal out of nothing. But I'm not even criticizing that. They made their own luck. Even in this, do you know what's so deep as well about that game? When Leno was playing short and Fulham were playing short, the press was actually good. They beat the press once, which obviously Jimenez did a thing and scored. And then it went down the cliff. It's square pegs in round holes. There's a lot of players that are good, but they're not good enough. There's too many unanswered questions. So we can smack up West Ham, banter Man United, do this, do that. And listen, no one loves it more than me. You lot are seeing me getting killed on that no context account, people. So people are saying, lock him up, he's dickhead, hope he die, bear these things. I don't care about that. It's the internet, innit? But, they, clicks on the watch alongs, DG Nation were growing. People live in, and I think all football fans, but I only care about Arsenal, live in la-la land, bro. Live in la-la land, because when things are going bad, some of you want to waffle about the things that find negatives where there's none and not talk about the actual negatives. When these negatives are prevalent, when we're winning games or not necessarily losing, or not even negatives, we're asking questions and saying, yo, why did we have that little period or this little period? Like West Ham, we battered West Ham. Why are you 4 goals up and that madness happens? This tells me the temperament isn't quite there. Again, the fine margins. If we want to be a team to get top 4 and do well against the top 6 and if we can win a cup, great. But that's not what we're here for. What did these lot say at the end of the season last year? What did they say against Everton on the last day of the season? Because you can go on Arsenal.com and look at it. What did Arteta say about our squad depth in February? And I'm not trying to catch no one out. You men are coming to say this. I'm a football fan. I make content, and I'm a person that, if you say things, I want to see it, I think I'm quite balanced. I want to see some correlation. Have we addressed these things? As I said, I'll describe the summer as we went forward and then we went back. So is that progression or regression or stagnation or a bit of the three? I don't know. I don't know, man. Seasons robbed. We just watch games to pass times. I talk about Jonathan David and Balogun because it would shift dynamics to even have someone that moves like a striker up front. I feel like it's the same old story with these type of games. Last season against Aston Villa and against Fulham, we said last season we just needed an extra spark to get through these tough blocks. And even that, you need the personnel. But like I said with Arteta, sometimes you got to be humble and say, yeah, you know what? I'm doing my mad scientist thing, inverted fullbacks, this one, that one. But sometimes you just got to respect football. I'm not saying he doesn't, but you've got to respect football. Smash the like button, people, for what it is. Okay, this ain't a game for that smart football manager stuff. Left backs, play like left backs. Invert, do your thing. Attackers, it's not always about the pressing, which you need to do. Create, score some goals. Get our players into positions where they're going to score. You either do the City thing, which I don't think we'll do, where you spend mad money and do these things. You do the Liverpool thing, where you buy correctly and you have some dogs. And for me, I just don't think these man got it in them. I'm not even saying that in a critical way. I do believe these players want to win trophies. I do think they want to care. So I'm not even buying them, but you're just away from the obvious. You're not dogs. Again, I'm not comparing them to the Chelsea, Manchester United, Arsenal, Liverpool, Spurs. No, I'm chatting Spurs, never done it. I'm not comparing them ability-wise. But you had, and I'm going to sound like Roy Keane and outdated here, but you had men, not soft youths, like good guys, because this is what I like about Arsenal. You know, you look at Saka, you look at Havertz, Odegaard, you lot are good guys. If I had a daughter, I wouldn't mind her being with you. But we need dogs. We need nasty people. And we have got elements of being nasty, of course. But it's not always about how you are at your best, you know. It's about how you are at your worst. And when we're at our worst, I don't know what we're going to do. Fail to prepare, you prepared to fail, innit? Kai has some of the worst movement I've seen for an Arsenal striker. No, I think his movement's good. I just don't think you can be confident with Kai Havertz. Like one of his shots, I don't think you can be confident in Kai Havertz up front. And it's got past the point where, I'll be honest, I don't think Kai's the problem. I think Kai can be part of the team and whatnot. The problem is you're putting a man in boots you can't fill. And I feel that way with a lot of players now, like Kivior, Kai Havertz, Martinelli, Gabriel Jesus, Sterling, if I see him, different reasons. But young Ethan, no pressure. You go do your thing. Jorginho, the absences, if Partey isn't there, if Saliba's not there, if Gabriel's not there, if Odegaard's not there, God forbid, if Saka's not there, if Benjamin White's not there. We're saying the same things. The only thing there is to be positive, and the only one that I can say, yo, you're doing your job, is the set piece done. You're doing what you need to do. Keep it up. But walk on for the, and yeah, to earn corners, you got to create and you got to do this, and we have done that. But take that and play ball. Because surely, I know we've got more height and whatnot, but surely, based on the skill set, especially of these players, surely it's more difficult to teach these man all the set piece routines and the importance of the delivery and needing to win the second ball. Surely that's harder than just getting man to pass a ball, bro. I'm not like, whether we rate these guys or not, like, I refuse to believe and accept that this should be an issue for Arsenal. Yeah, we should be talking about goal scoring. You know, when we lost to Liverpool in the FA Cup, or when we didn't beat West Ham, or to a slight degree Aston Villa away last season, all of them are last season, where we're creating chances, people are looking like Bambi on ice. That should be the issue. Worst comes to worst. That should be it, not flipping creating. Like Pep Guardiola says, and he's not the best of examples right now. My job is to get you to the final third, which I do, you know, the build-up play, you get there. Their job is to do it. And the players have got to, you know, pull their skirts up. But also, Arteta, you've got to allow them to, because, you know, it's well documented how difficult it is, these individual roles and how they tie in. But you've got to give them the freedom. It's too scripted in the final third. There's no invention. There's no intention. So we're going to keep saying the same things and having the same old conversations again and again and again and again and again. Arteta's talent ID is more suspect than an invite to a Diddy party. You're flat, mate. I like it. I mean, it is just mad. That's a mad, like that. That comment was mad, man. Oh my God, yeah, bro. We're trying to get into the mainstream. Allow me, but it's mixed because on one hand, Gabriel, Partey, Odegaard, Saliba's not your player, but went to blood Saliba. You're misprofiling Rice, but Rice. Who else is there? There's couple Calafiori, I'm cool with that. Ben White, I'm cool with that. Ramsdale, beyond all his faults, he did well. Raya, I'm cool with that. Beyond that, you've got Kivior. Who the fuck said to sign Donny? Timber big him up. You know, that Kai Havertz playing up front. I'm not even dissing Kai because I think we've drawn as much blood from the stone as we can. You're taking a good squad player in Trossard and asking him to move mountains. You know, even the role of the striker at Arsenal. You know, you're gonna find yourself in that Pep Guardiola conundrum where I'm not necessarily against it. I like having a striker in theory that can drop deep and press and do all of these things. That's the modern day. And maybe it's because of an anomaly because Haaland was available. But at some point, you know, we've seen Pep Guardiola win leagues with no striker, right? You signed Haaland, which in the modern day is the closest thing you're going to get to a traditional number 9. I'm just here to bully man and score goals. Don't care about heat maps and XG and all of this jazz, right? Whether it's because Haaland was too good to turn down or whatever, Pep said, yo, you know what? We need a killer there, you know? We need a killer. And there has to be a correlation with getting over the line with the treble. So Arteta's going to have to rework his thing. And this is what I mean by you can't just sit. We need a striker. Everyone knows that. You can't just assume you grab Sesko, you grab Gyökeres, you get Isak, you do this. Of course, they'll get more goals than Kai, and they might bail us out of games like that, just a little bit of individual brilliance. But are we creating, have we got the best facilities where we can just evidently look at that and say, you slap a striker in, we're there now? It's not like when Giroud was missing whole heap of chances. It's not like last season when you're missing whole heap of chances against in the FA Cup or potentially against West Ham. West Ham at home, probably the best example. How much times are we going to say the same things? You know, the problem with us now is we don't understand it's a squad game because clearly we ain't got enough numbers. Of course, you know, you take an Odegaard, you take a Saliba, you take a Gabriel, you take Saka out, you take this guy out. Of course, there's going to be a drop-off, but the drop-off is too big. So A, there's no solution or plan B, or B, the other, or C, I don't even know how many letters I'm saying now. The players are saying good enough. And it's got past the point where I'm looking at the players, bro, like, because you're not buying yourself. I don't think you're going out there to play bad. On one hand, you play good, you play bad, as I said, praise or criticism, but the recruitment, Fulham, I'm not gonna lie. Like again, Smith Rowe needed to cut, Fabio needed to cut, but that was that. You like I said, you either stretch the team, fullbacks, wingers, you know, dynamic central midfielders that are gonna make third man runs and link up with the wide men, which people forget. We couldn't do that against Fulham because Partey ain't got the legs, Jorginho definitely ain't got the legs for that, and whatnot. Or you do the Wenger thing where you got a bunch of players that can play in the pockets, that do them things in the half spaces. You need to have perfected your starting 11, then you look at the depth. I thought after the first year we got the second, we would build on the first team, and by now we'd maybe be buying 2, 3 or players for depth. Boy, I was wrong. Martinelli just produces nothing 99% of the time, and when he does his offside, squad player thing. It's peak for you. 5 years Arteta been here, now look at the forward line. Boy. Arteta, you've engineered your own issues. Like, you've engineered your own issues, let's be honest. You're standing in the rain, no jacket, and you're asking why you're wet. Chelsea are the perfect example of what can happen when you do squad building correctly. And we're not even asking to spend 1 billion like them, man, there. Arteta's always changing winning teams because of simple injuries. We aren't winning a big one this season unless something crazy happens, I can't lie. We're so behind schedule, it's a joke. The way Chelsea have leaped us is crazy. As a passionate Arsenal fan, I can only admire and envy the position Chelsea are sitting in. But when people mocked me in the season where I said I'm not, and I still don't think Chelsea win the league, but when I said that project, Maresca's moving serious, they're giving him a bit of the Arteta thing where, you know, not maybe like Tuchel or Potter where he's got to be a bit cute and clever with players. They're saying you can rub out and do whatever you want. Liverpool, you know, next season there might be an issue. They need to have a rebuild, but the experience, Ancelot, yeah, I've walked in 2 minutes now. You ain't giving me the market I needed to because they didn't sign no players. Fair enough, they've got quality players. I'm going to change and tweak 1, 2 things. Now, down the line, there might be more extreme changes, and that's my biggest issue. Of course, I want Arsenal to be like City in a sense of dominating and winning the league and everything every year, essentially, right? But I just wanted us to take advantage. We hit a sweet spot where now we're kind of fighting City. Liverpool have been rubby for a couple of years. Chelsea have been rubby. United not saying nothing. Forget Spurs out of all them teams. Forget that. We've been the second best, or, you know, the season before last year, people said we were the neutrals' favourite. Bag a Premier League title. I can't tell you about tomorrow. Just grab something. Liverpool might say, I'm not saying they will, but Liverpool, Chelsea, in theory, they might take advantage of City falling off this year, win it, and then regress next year. And I'm not saying that's the case to be sour. I hope that is as a selfish Arsenal fan, right? But who cares? You've taken advantage. You've etched your name in history. It's only, you know, we are going to improve. I can't really tell you what improvements, but I think we have improved in some aspects this year. I don't really believe that. But we're not just going to sit still. Neither are the other teams. And soon it's going to be a level playing field. You know, United need to flush out a lot of stuff. But if they get it right, Amarin's here. Chelsea got the budget, the manager, the players. They're not going nowhere. City, I mean, they're looking rubby. There's question marks, probably need a rebuild. But you have to give them that luxury of, end of the day, City, they've done it. If anyone can come back from that in the Premier League, it's them. And then there's us, where we hope. But I don't like to live in hope. I don't like to live in hope in life. I like to make my own luck. Boy, you're not winning anything with Arteta. The only time he did the right things was when he was about to get sacked. DG was gassing up Sterling, signing the useless addition to the squad. You're capping. I just said he's a yard man. Find where I ever gassed up Raza. Yeah, Martinelli's moving mad, man. Martinelli's moving mad. I can't defend the undefendable, man. You know, what do you want me to say? Like, I love my football club. If you're moving rubbed, you're moving rubbed, bro. Like, it is where it is. Like, it is where it is. And that's the thing. Like, obviously, we are not Liverpool, right? And they ain't got Mane and Fabinho and whatnot. But and Salah's the big dog. Like, Salah, you've seen even Salah against Southampton got them out of it. Liverpool shit, they bagged it. That's what you've got to do across the season, right? But if Salah's not doing it, you've got Jota there if he's fit. You've got Jota. You've got Cody Gakpo. Diaz can get a few. Darwin Núñez is probably the one where you don't necessarily know what you're going to get week in, week out. Sometimes he's brilliant. Sometimes he's rubby. But he causes havoc, and that's what you need in the Prem. You need to cause havoc. You've got to have hearts. Therapy, man. Odegaard couldn't do it on a rainy, cold day at Craven Cottage. Lie, man, because you know what he does. And even if he can't do it, judge your players. If you know Donny can't do it, find the others. The only time we attacked the market really was Timber, Rice, and Havertz coming in at the same time. Boy, imagine if we actually signed Joao Neves. We like to sign too many average dons. And even that last season, a cop-out, cool. Nico Williams, you can't get him. Fair enough. You didn't get Sesko, cool. Gyökeres, I think that's more media stuff. And I'm not even saying Pedro Neto would have banged for us. Chelsea found a way to get Pedro Neto. Things are meant to happen. You know, people can criticize the signings of City for their own things. They still managed to get a Silvinho. They still managed to... Their issues is just not replacing Rodri. Like, come on. And that's why both them teams in Arsenal and City are struggling. You didn't do what you needed to do in the market. Liverpool, the only exception. I like Arteta as a coach. I don't think he should be involved in the side who stays at the club and who comes in. Bro, you're not wrong. Instead of putting like for like, he would rejig the team, which hinders us. All it took was putting Lewis Skelly or Tierney. You could have dashed Tierney on. Lewis Skelly might have got ripped. He's a young man learning, but come on, let's be real, man. He's shown a lot more courage than people a lot more senior than him. If you come on against Liverpool, whether it worked or not, and you come on against City, respectfully to Fulham, you can do a thing there. And you've got a bit more confidence. Then you've got Timber centre half. Then you put Partey in midfield. And we still might, it feels like a loss, even though we drew, but we might be saying different things. Bro, trust me, bro. Like, and the thing is, half these guys that waffle about field tilt and XG don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Give them football, they're capped. They don't know what they're doing, bro. It's just bare smart dons because they wear tight jeans and that, and they look like they're on the TV and they use fancy jargon and chat shit. Like, bro, and it don't mean anything. Field tilt means nothing without context. XG means nothing without context. But you got to remember, football is an emotional sport. It's copium, I think they say. It's that thing. It means nothing. It means nothing. Because if I wanted to be rugby, I'm sure I could go and find some beer statistics that, if I really wanted to, find some beer statistics that make Arsenal's attacking play look a bit better than people are suggesting. It means nothing without context. It means nothing. I'm not going to lie, I've got a lot of love for you, but right now it's like a chef that's working in a Michelin star restaurant. You got the most expensive groceries to make this meal that people can buy, and you're fucking up. You're burning stuff. And then you got Arne Slot, which not to disrespect him, just because he's come off from Liverpool, just some guy with a jerk pan outside a rave, and he's cooking better things than you with shitter ingredients. And again, for me, before I even talk about all these other clubs, as I said last year and the year before that, and said this year, for me, before I look at these guys, we shoot ourselves in the foot. Appreciate that, Marcel. When you're not trolling, you're a good guy. We are so lopsided, bro. We've known this for years. When was the last time of recent that we weren't lopsided? It was probably, when Martinelli was scoring, to the point where Martinelli, I love you, but we can't keep talking about the last 2 years. Maybe that was a purple patch. Maybe you was watching Amir Zaki and Michu vids and then one season wonders there. I don't know. And even that, we've gone the other way now. Well, at the moment, we can't score goals and we can't defend in it. But generally, we've gone the other way. If you remember that season, we miss it because of the attacking play, the open play, how we was playing in general. We didn't win the game, but those first 20 odd minutes at Anfield, certain elements of us losing at Old Trafford. But if you remember, we were naive. We'd play great football. If we were poor in the first half, we'd pattern it up in the second. Or we put 9 times out of 10, we'd put teams to sleep in the first half. And like when we played Leeds, and then it's backs against the wall. So naturally, it's different. But I've said this about Jurgen Klopp. If you remember when Jurgen Klopp walked in at Liverpool, they did have a lot of injuries as they were implementing what he wanted to do here. But if you remember, Jurgen Klopp's known for that heavy metal thing. Like, minute 0 to minute 90, we're playing the same way. Quickly, he clocked, if I want to do what I want to do for Liverpool, I can't sacrifice my principles all the way. I've got to keep doing that, but I have to respect the dynamics and the realm of what I'm in. Okay, because Liverpool used to be rubbish defensively. Okay, whatever they're doing on the training ground, let's tweak 1-2 things. And that's why people always look at when Alisson and Van Dijk came to Liverpool, they went to a next level. Yes, they did, of course. Alisson bought for big money, Van Dijk bought for big money, but the ethos around it changed. Because they could have very easily did the Man United thing. Just sign on paper Casemiro, Ronaldo, all of these guys. You sign them on paper, it's wavy, but there's no system to it. So, yeah, I waffled about that to go back to this. So we needed to become a bit more street smart, which is why last season we weren't For the last 2 years, we ain't attacked on a wavy thing on a convincing basis. But we've been a lot more street smart. We've been better defensively. We needed that, but we've gone the other way. Like I said, please, Arteta, there's certain elements I don't want you to lose. I actually like, in theory, beyond what I'm bitching about, pardon my French, about why we didn't beat Fulham. I like that you leave nothing to charge. I like the inverted stuff. But we need, and no matter how much you think about the other team, bro, you need to put the ball in the back of the net. And you better praise your lucky stars that you took this guy from City to do the set piece thing, because we picked up points via that. We need to put our own mark on the game. Football's about entertainment. Football's about dancing. It's like seeing a pretty gal in a rave. You're dancing, you're whining. Right now, we're not in beat. She's going to walk away, or she's going to turn away, look at your face and say, you're ugly, safe. It needs to change, man. It's not going to. At best, it is what it is, man. Like, it is what it is, man. We just enjoy the W's we get, especially if there's in the top 6. Like just win at Anfield. I know it's easier said than done. Just so I can have a day of Marcel running away, but dead. It's not naive. Well, not naive, not good enough. I think it's not good enough. It's naivety. It's everything, man. 2024-25, he's forcing players in different positions, which has cost us already. The attack saw management sign only Sterling to help them get over the line. Some of our guys were defeated before we barely kicked the ball. There you have it, man. Can't sugarcoat Marcel. I'm not on that, man. It's stalemate, bro. New kit soon drop. And the cycle continues, man. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I love Arsenal Football Club. I love small sections of the fan base and through making content, being here with you lot. But sometimes, you know, like we all know, big up Kai, but we all know we need a best example. We all know we need a striker, right? Regardless of if you like Kai or not, we all need a striker. But it's like 100 man and gal will be saying, no, we can't sign a striker because Kai Havertz. To the point where sometimes you almost get twanged, you know, because everyone's saying the same thing, like, oh, maybe you don't. The problem with Arsenal fans is they have an inability to contextualize things. Very emotional fan base. And I'm talking about those that waffle about field tilts and XG. There's very few balance. You got slag off the club. Everybody's crap. Nothing solved. You got people pretending that everything's fine. The house is burning. Everything's fine. Quick short-term fix. How much time are you going to put a plaster over something before you need to rip off the bandage and go through those issues? Only reliable performers are Odegaard, Saka, Timber, Gabriel, Saliba, and Rice. The rest are even consistent or injury-prone. Even the injury-prone players, like, bro, I love Tommy, but the Tommies, the Zinchenko's, the Kivior errors, you know, needing to be very careful with Timber and Calafiori. There's certain things we knew. We knew with Benjamin White, we played that man into the ground. And they knew, again, I don't work for Arsenal Football Club, but you can't tell me that you woke up the day he had, you know, the day we found out he needed surgery, he needed that. You know, for a while. Because there's got to be a correlation with hearing, Tomiyasu and Calafiori back. Coincidentally, Calafiori's come back. Tomiyasu, MIA, can't contact him. As soon as Ben White has that injury, the man them are back. There's so many things. And of course, I'm being very harsh and, you know, injuries and all these things happen, but it's happening too frequently. I do think the coaching staff want to win. I do think the players want to win. I just think they're going about it the wrong way. I just think the club... Because, you know, again, it's bare lip service. You see the articles, you hear the big media accounts. You every now and again, Josh Kroenke coming up and they can't cop out. Because Odegaard, I'm not even blaming Odegaard, Mikel Arteta, Josh Kroenke, William Saliba the other day. We hear, I want to win Prem, I want to win titles, I want to do this. The club needs to be back to where it needs to go. And I know it's not a straightforward process. I know as a fan, I'm a bit excited and I might be harsh in certain elements. But come on now, you flirting with us. Why? I just realized you, man, already drew 5 games, the same amount as us all last season. There you have it. Tired, man. I hear it, DJ, and I agree with you. I must say, though, Arteta is the right man for the job. I believe he'll figure it out and get it right. Be patient. I mean, I'm past being patient. I'm not effing and blinding. I'm like, be patient for what? Like, I can be patient as long as I see stuff. And I still am patient, but I can't just, I'm not saying you're saying this, Albert, but I can't tell myself to be patient when we've dropped off a cliff defensively, when they're still the same. Anyone that's been following me for years to the point where I've now got 1-2 bit of facial hair. How much years have I been saying central midfield? When we signed Gabriel Jesus, and like I said, I'm the biggest fan of his, I said it's going to be a Lacazette thing. We're not going to get out of the hood with that. When we signed Kai, we all knew. There's certain things, and for me, it's about what's going on. You're like your best central midfielder is out of contract at the end of the season in Thomas Partey. You're relying on Jorginho, take nothing away from him. You're not using Sterling, So that tells me you don't rate him like that. Of course, when the games are coming thick and fast, we don't rate him. Martinelli's falling off a cliff. And, you know, Carlos Cuesta, big him up. But, and I'm not saying it's him, but we've all watched the All or Nothing. We've all seen the individual coach and all of that stuff. What go on for my man? Because some man clearly have improved. What go on? You know, Trossard's hot and cold. Even in the end of last season, when you broke it down, we scored a lot more goals from open play. And I'm not criticizing set pieces, but and we did improve the year before last year. I think we got 80 odd goals. Last year, we got 90 odd. Yeah. Cool. Progression, doing our thing, couple man chipped in. But when you broke it down, Saka's the only one that did it for anything close to the season. Kai Havertz did it for a second half of the year. The last 2 seasons prior to this year, Trossard's been assist king and been goal scorer, but he's not been in it like that. Odegaard will and can chip in with a few, but you can't, while he needs to add goals and he's got the capacity and you're in the final third, you're not necessarily looking at Martin Odegaard for that. Yeah, you can sit here and say Declan Rice had his best season in terms of output. Cool, but you're a top-class number 6. I'm not here for that. If you do anything beyond that 6 stuff, well done. Set pieces, cool. Man are chipping in here and there. Unanswered questions. You don't know how you're getting. Again, 9-15. Mikel Arteta said a few years ago, we need to be a team that scores 100 goals if you want to win the league. And I'm not trying to catch no one out. You said that. Just because I'm listening to that and looking every week to how we go to that. There's a lot that I like about Mikel Arteta, but I like my football club more. And it's not like listen, I'm not saying you should get sacked. I don't think you're going to get sacked. It's not just a follow Arteta thing for no reason. Like, it's not. And I like to think I'm quite balanced. I'll give Arteta his props. I'm not saying you're saying I'm not. I don't, Albert. I'll give him his props. And then I have to ask questions. And I'm not saying you, but one thing, and I'm not a fan of scapegoating any player or the manager, effing and blinding, all of that jazz, right? But for me, it just feels like when we win, everything Arteta. When we lose, man want to slag off their players. You want to talk, and I'm not saying it's wrong. You want to draw out the players. You want to draw out the owners. You want to do this and do that. We don't want to look at the one man. Kai Havertz ain't top 5 striker, but for me, I don't diss Kai. I think Kai's cool for the squad. You isolate to you, Kai Havertz. I think we've gone as far as we can go with you in your specific role, starting week in, week out. But we don't have another striker. No one ain't trying to see Gabriel Jesus at this moment in time play up front. For dead, I know a couple of years ago we was talking about Martinelli up front. Dead that. You man tried to tell me Trossard up front on a consistent basis is a thing. Dead that. So then what's going on? Now, if we did what Liverpool did historically, where again Kai Havertz is no Firmino, right? But you've got Saka on the right, which would have been Salah for them. You know, the next man on the left hand side, in Mane. Grab the goals. You have a little Wijnaldum who I don't think he was a great goal scorer like that, but it's known to chip in. You had Origi who on paper, not the strongest of goal scorers, but went down in folklore. You know, he could come off the bench and you could nick something and do something. That could even be Trossard, because Trossard's probably the best example of that. It's too many unanswered questions, man. Too many. All you can do is, learn from the past and live in the present moment. The only saving grace is, I think Liverpool are winning the league title, which forget talking about winning the league title. It's not even 30 Arsenal are going to finish, second. I do think we'll get top 4, but boy, need to get our hands together. Man said your nan will get Adidas tracksuits by accident for Xmas if you don't hit the like. Big up you, man. Members. Apartment of Defense. Where's your... I beg you, type something. You should be a moderator here. Another one I've been doing dirty. Where are you? Because I have to go into the YouTube studio to make you a mod. Type something. Oh, there you are. There you are. Don't worry. Don't worry. With great power comes great responsibility. You're a moderator, man. So, yeah, let's go on with what we're talking about, man. Pardon me. Jesus is the only striker Arteta has signed in 5 years at the club and hasn't been fit or in any sort of form. Not all these players got the back to carry this badge. I like Kai, but when you're forcing bench players on the pitch, don't act surprised. And that's it. That's why I can't. It's dead now. Like, it doesn't surprise me Kai Havertz not being clinical. It doesn't surprise. At no point do I look at, of course, constructive criticism. There are some chances he could be scoring, but I don't rate you like that. You've exceeded in my expectations. You felt like Arteta has failed you upwards because the striker thing, you tried to make him a midfielder, which Arteta, you know more about football than me. And thankfully, these guys got more of a rep. But I'm looking at you funny. If you looked at Granit Xhaka and Kai Havertz, yeah, you might have wanted him to replace him in midfield and play it differently. But if you looked at what Granit Xhaka gave us, especially under you, and then you saw Kai Havertz and thought, yeah, he's going to be there. You're moving mad. You're smoking something. You're playing too much Football Manager. You're doing on one hand, football is a simple game, but it's so simple. It's complicated. So listen, Arteta, I know you understand football more than me. All the players say it, but it's also a simple game, man. We're doing the galaxy brain thing too much. As I said, at times it feels like because we got one error or one thing to address, we're now changing up 3-4 other things, and then madness is happening. The games at home are filled with drama. We're not handling business really and truly away from home. Fair play. You went out, you went Etihad, you didn't lose. You took something off Villa. I know Emre's fallen. You didn't lose. You won the North London derby. Cool. But then if I look at prior to us scoring against Villa, if I look at how the game started against City, if I look at Newcastle, no positives. If I look at Bournemouth, big up Areola. Another one you lot told me, why are you downplaying? Why are you downplaying Arsenal, man? They're definitely gonna turn over Bournemouth. No, it's not that, and I'm not know it all, man. Watch football, bro. Yeah, Bournemouth are never gonna be. Well, they're not in the top 4, and you can slag them off and that. But Areola's a bloody good coach. They play bloody good football. I think before we played them, they made it difficult for Chelsea. Since then, what they've beaten our City, they dealt with Spurs. There's no easy games in the Prem. You know what's mad? Aubameyang has been the only Arsenal player I've ever seen win a Golden Boot. I'm deep in this striker issue. Has been going on in years before Aubameyang. But Arteta's a good coach, but man, need to manage, bro. And about this, because I rate you, man, I have to hold you to high expectations. You can't have it both ways. You can't say, fair enough, I don't think there's any Arsenal fans saying it now, but you can't say Arteta is this, that, the third, he's the greatest, he could do this, we can't sack him. You can't gas him up and then not ask questions. Because of Prime Wenger, there's questions. I'm sure City fans, they can never, ever, any City fan that mutters Pep Guardiola out is being disrespectful. But they're asking questions. I'm sure Liverpool, Jurgen Klopp, there's been times, questions. I'm sure even right now, Ancelot's doing his thing. But naturally, Gaffer, this was a bit concerning. What's going on? United will have to do that at some point, no matter how good Amorim is. Questions. In the same way, Saka, if you score a hat-trick, which Arteta's done you dirty last season, bad boy. If Saka misses 1v1 questions, there's only a couple players I'm genuinely upset if they don't perform. Because I don't like to have expectations because it leads to disappointments. But I'm not mad if Kivior plays good or bad. I'm not vexed at Jorginho. I'm actually quite fond of Jorginho. I can't really get too animated with Kai Havertz. I don't expect too much from Jesus. Sterling if he plays. Martinelli, different because I actually rate him. But Ethan, Young G, Lewis Skelly, Young G is like, just go out and learn, innit? That's it. Other than that, boy, the only ones I genuinely feel if you have a bad game, Saka, Odegaard, Saliba, Gabriel, Benjamin White, maybe 1-2 Calafiori, maybe 1-2 others that are missing out. But that's not 20 names. There's 38 Premier League games. However many in the Champions League now. However many in the FA Cup. However many in the League Cup. Fair enough. Marco Silva's a good coach, man. And it sounds cliche, but 9 times out of 10, bro, it's Premier League football. You're gonna buck good coaches. The only coach I would describe off the top of my head right now is extremely naive. I promise you, if we play 20 times, I would believe we could win at least 19. Would be Postecoglou, who I actually feel is a good coach. He's just very stubborn and naive to the other traits. He hasn't learned the hard. Well, he is learning the hard way, but he's not learned the hard way and ease things. You're going against serious managers. Historically, Jurgen Klopp. Now Slot, Maresca, bad boy, kind of same kind of manager on like Arteta. Ruben Amorim right now, United are crap, but method to his madness. Areola, they say boy, we can laugh about Unai Emery and Aston Villa. You know what time it is. A bit like when we play Fulham when they play us. As cliche as it is, there's no easy games in the Premier League, and I'm not saying Arteta, the players or Arsenal believe that. But this is why I say I think the club would like, and I'm talking about the club beyond the ones we're saying now. I think they would like to win the champs in Prem. I don't think the pursuit of it keeps them up at night. I don't think they're going to realize that. I don't. And I hope I'm wrong. In a dream world, I hope that this is just a dark period in May. You lot are clipping this up saying, oh, you know what, DG, you're tweaking. You was upset, even though some of you be shameless and feel the same way. And we're winning the Prem or whatever. But boy, because Liverpool can drop as many points as they want. Chelsea can drop as many points as they want. City can drop as many points as they want. We need to pick up what points? 15 games in, I think we dropped 7 points. Of course, I'm being harsh a bit, but that's the cold-hearted facts. Yes, you can apply context. Obviously, you cut the team more luxuries in certain games than others, but that's the cold-hearted facts. 15 games, you dropped 7 points. How many from winning possessions or being in the driving seat? Because at some point, you was leading against Chelsea once again. You was leading against Liverpool. You was leading against City. And these are all your title rivals as well. Fair enough, you took points. And if you can't win, don't lose, all of that jazz. But these are, beyond the obvious, these are 6-pointers. Fair enough, Brighton, red card. But before that, I was at that game. The game should have been done in the first half. What a goal that was from Kai Havertz, by the way. Should have been done. Should have been 2-3-4, and it is what it is. Newcastle was a different one because like there's no positives, there's no like it's just bare negatives. You didn't turn up. Bournemouth the same. You can't want to win. You can't big up the set pieces. But for 38 games, you can't rely on just set pieces. You can't be good for 20 minutes and not the majority of the 90 minutes. You have to be able to bet on players. You sure as hell have to be. Again, hindsight's a wonderful thing, and there's context and in many ways courageous elements because we didn't have the strongest squad against Liverpool. You have to get them 3 points and don't let Liverpool die in the dying embers. And you have to have your game management in point. City, I cut them a lot of luxuries. I'm not going to draw out the team for drawing against City, but the first half there was too much respect. You have to go over the line. You fucking have to turn up against Newcastle. St. James's Park, doesn't matter what team you support. When the Premier League fixtures list comes out at the start of the season, beyond obviously North London derby and trying to find where, you know, the period you got tough games, you look for, well, for me anyways, because Old Trafford is not necessarily a good place for us statistically, even though I've seen us win the league. I look for Old Trafford. You look for St. James's Park. You look for Anfield. You look for Selhurst Park, which we got to go Selhurst Park. And I hope, you know, when you lot are done watching the Fulham game, which Fulham for us as well, you see what you need to do. Because, you know, yeah, you can boy City and whatever, but you saw what their manager's on. Shout out to DG, bro. I made a list of like 10 to 12 attackers that I think may be good. Not all realistic, but we need to improve up there. And unless it's the Trossard kind of ilk, bro, we're not buying no one in January. I hope I'm wrong. With our options, I would have rather we kept Beref than sell him. Broski, it was a money-making tick. That was it. Clearly, like, I'm not even buying it, but Beref not rated. Arteta never rate these, man. Bare of them and them Highlanders, they were up and down the country. Them times they're on the bench. You didn't come on. You're just filling up numbers. The club looked at it and said, you know what? We can get a decent fee for Smith Rowe. We can get a decent fee for Eddie Nketiah. We can get a decent fee for Mika Beref. It's 100%, you know, profit and all that stuff. And I'm not saying to keep Mika Beref, but they're looking at it that like that. I don't want to get on a player like Saliba, if and when he leaves Madrid, this team continues to disappoint, and calling a player a snake for leaving us is unfair. Bro, nobody owes us nothing, bro. Nobody owes us nothing. You're not here because we love you. We're not here because we like you. You're here because you're quote-unquote good footballers. You got one career. Even Bukayo Saka, I love him. I hope he stays and he's a one-club man and all of that jazz. But at some point, even if you do that and we win bare trophies and we win everything, you're going to be 35 years of age. All you're going to get is a testimonial and thank you. And you're going to have to live with, I'm making all this up, but in 2023, Madrid were on to me. I wanted to go. You're going to have to go live with that regret. And I can't regret if you're Saliba, if you're Saka, and, you know, you got one right now, you know, you're young and impressionable. If you are here for a couple of years and you say, you know what, I want to cut, cool. When I look at the club, between Saliba, Saka, whether you rate them or not, bro, we need to be getting a record sale, for them. And I'll be real with you, lot. I've seen Thierry Henry leave this football club and met Patrick Vieira, Ashley Cole. Like, bro, these man can't hurt me. I'm past all of that now. If Riyad Gyökeres, just his movement would transform our attack. Yeah, but it's one man. It's true, but it's one man moving. And next one's got to move. There's no point. I'm not saying you're saying this, but there's no point one guy with elite movement, because where are you going? When you're playing a deep block, you might take a one man with you, but you need him. You need to make a forward run. He needs to make a run. You need to drag people out of position, and they know this. Boy, relax on the Chelsea thing. They haven't gone down any court yet. They look shaky defensively, but what you can't sit here and say is that Chelsea tweak these minor things, bro. It's scary. I'm sorry, I don't really like the Moreno signing because we still need a midfielder. We can't move like this in the market. But this is where I get onto Arteta. It's you that's buying these dual winners and that. And I'm not against it. There's bare dual winners. The one unicorn in midfield you got, or the two unicorns you've got, they're past it. Uncle Partey, don't know if you're still going to be here. Jorginho ain't got the legs. Declan Rice, cool. There's certain elements I actually like about you playing as an 8. But you're never going to be Paul Scholes, Michael Carrick, Santi Cazorla, Cesc Fabregas. It's not you. You didn't get signed for 100 million. Captain West Ham, Windows trophy, well, a trophy at West Ham, get capped by England. You're a water carrier, a piano pusher, and I'm not buying it. That's you. Anything you do beyond that's a bonus. Anything you do. Your thing is win the ball back, keep it moving. box to box, combative, act like a handbrake. If you can get some set pieces and you can improve your passing and do all of that, that's great. It's like Odegaard. All I want to see is twinkle toes. If you want to win duels and press and be the nucleus of the team and help out defensively, obviously, you know, football's a fluid system. You need to do this. That's a bonus for you. I think in the modern day, as much as it's relevant, people that don't understand football get too harped on about, a striker's got to get a heat map in the middle of the park. Defenders got to be good with their feet. Goalies got to be good with their feet, which is all true. But fundamentally, the jobs are the same. If you're a goalie that can pick out a pass, which Sanchez of Chelsea can, but he can't, like, there's not a single Chelsea fan on this earth, unless they're related to him, that will tell you they're confident with him in goal. You can be as great as you are as a defender with a ball at your feet. If you can't follow runners and do these things, you're in problems. You can do as much as we know already. You can drop into midfield. You can make runs. David Raya can lump it to you as much as he wants. You can do all of those other facets. But if the manager's not setting you up to score clear-cut chances, which Havertz isn't in his defense, and if you're not able to, which Kai Havertz isn't exactly clinical, yeah. The biggest difference this season is that every player apart from Saliba has picked up knocks other than Timber and Partey. We kept the squad healthy for most of last year. No two seasons are the same, they say, man. Don't talk to me about Chelsea until they do something. You're discrediting Arsenal and hyping up guys that are second in December. Miss me. Boy, teams don't play Arsenal the same. And that comes with the territory. You shouldn't. You shouldn't play Arsenal the same. If you know Mikel Arteta has this brand of football, the only thing that they can't stop right now is these set pieces. Why would you want to let Arsenal do it? Am I vexed at Fulham for getting bought by Wolves for 1,000,000%? But obviously you're going to raise it. It comes with the territory. Arteta did say that Martinelli's goal tally was an anomaly that season during that year's running. Well, then if you know that, what's going on? Bro, who's arguing Chelsea? I thought you were talking to me. Allow me. I was about to say, the social drain's on to me, boy. Arteta needs to start giving players a chance to fail themselves rather than withholding the opportunity. It's boring, keep losing and drawing the same way. Fair enough. Trossard has more goals than Felix. Yeah, big him up for that. We've been better coached this season than other seasons, if you ask me. We just don't have the quality when Saka and Odegaard are locked out of games. But I'm not watching Arsenal again. If Dan Ashworth comes, your fucking quality. I wish I was Dave, forgive me. Big up yourself, though, man. Henry, appreciate you, man. Be patient. I can be as patient. I am not in my personal life, but I am a patient person. But I'm not with this just saying be patient. I'm not saying anyone says this, but I'm not just with this being patient, trusting the process. All of these buzzwords without anything. Oh, cool, you want to trust it. Week in, week out, I want to see something. Because too many, I'm not saying anyone here, but too many people want to do these smart things. Too many people want to say, oh, well, I know more about football than you. I know about field tilt and XG and you wait until May and Well, there's no outs now because we're going on a run. As a fan base, we're too temperamental. There's a lack of balance. Whether you make content or you're in the pub, there's a lack of balance. And it's effing jarring. And again, yeah, patience. But even that, the one thing I would say, yeah, you have to be patient. But Arteta, a big reason as to why I'm not patient is because you've actually made us half decent. Now you've actually made us, finish two points off a league title. Fair enough. We are still languishing in 8th, hoping on top 4. Then your expectations are adjusted. We'd still be vexed. But in life, as they say, the hope that kills. No progressive ball carrier midfielder. Again, who has assembled these things? Who has assembled these guys? Mikel Arteta, your teammates at Arsenal were wavy. You was at La Masia, you was at City. What's going on? And I'm not against dual winners, water carriers. You want that. But you need a mixture. You need a mixture. You do need a mixture. There's no way around it. You need a mixture. You have to have one. Should have kept Ben White. He's injured. Get this manager out. I won't go that yet, but if Arteta left, I'm not crying. If he stays, it is what it is. City are getting everyone's best game now. People no longer rolling over for them. And that's the thing. When you've got a target on your back, it's like being a shark it's like being a wounded animal in the ocean. Once you're bleeding out, the sharks, all these things, they're coming for you. As great as City are, we can't disrespect them. You're right. People are like, yo, all the time City used to beat us up. It's a Debo thing. It's like the end of Friday where Debo gets beaten up and people are rubbing him in that. Yeah, it's now time for the bully to get bullied. It's like Man United, like historically. And to be fair, like Arsenal. Arteta is the guy who studies for 12 hours a day to get average grades. Slot is the guy who studies. Well, you got to work smart. Literally getting to the point when we're guessing right with every player Arteta brings on. I knew he was subbing Jesus and Moreno on. It's all predictable stuff, no risk at all. If Slot wins the Premier League before Arteta, we're going to give Arteta side eyes. He deserves side eyes, but you're not getting sacked. Because obviously nobody, well, maybe Liverpool fans, but nobody probably saw Chelsea where they are right now, the City fall off in Liverpool. No one could have saw that. But they gave the man a new deal. Rightly or wrongly, a man's been given a man's been given a new deal. That to me tells me that you're here anyways. Like and I'm not saying it's the wrong thing, because you could point towards stability and all of that jazz. But that tells me, for me personally, they will find excuses, and you know how the media is. As long as you keep up the pace in the league, as long as you give like last year, give a quote unquote respectable account of yourself in the champs. We don't go back to when we was getting our asses kicked. You go as far as you can in the FA Cup. You just don't get embarrassed. You don't necessarily have to win silverware. There'll be some statistics that show improvement. There'll be some positives. The job's done, because the next step is, because again, what did I say at the beginning? People can buy me, and I'm not part of that cult like Arteta following. But I do think he's a good manager. I do think you got a good future. I do think there's a lot to like about you. But the alternative is, if this continues with no real pressure by the board on him and they love him, etc., just like we used to see with the players in the early Emirates era, once they get to another level and they polish things, he's going to F off. And I care about Arsenal more than I can ever care about Mikel Arteta. The man's I hate this stuff, but he's even got aura. I've been in a press conference. Like, I can understand when the players say, oh, Arteta told me this and that. But if man are rating you like this, there's question marks. Partey is still solid in midfield, but he has fitness issues at right back. He's not it. I don't like him at right back, but I don't think he's the biggest thing. And even some fans have to hold themselves accountable. I'm not saying they're wrong, but some of you are slagging off Partey and saying, yo, shut him and get rid of him and do this and do that. Boy, if we sold Partey, walk on. If Partey cut, walk on. And that's another thing. Again, it's easy for me to sit here and say, we need to do this, we need to do that. We never have the replacements for the replacements. Like, obviously, this is why I wanted Lavia, obviously, because Lavia could have been little bro to Partey. We know once you fall off, you're involved. It's now that Partey's in the last year of his deal, and we don't know whether he's going to get a new deal, or it's the right or wrong one. It's like, we need a midfielder. What's going on? I love it when you get in this energy, bro. Apologies, man. I just love the club, man. Got a decent fee for Balogun. It is what it is, man. Hopefully, new sporting director has priority straight. But again, like, unless you're giving the next sporting director, obviously collaboration, all of that, you need to be given some real power, because for all of Edu's faults, I genuinely think once Arteta decides he wants something, it's a F what you got to say, Edu. Like, yeah, typically, if you looked at the structure, the sporting director's up here, Arteta's there, innit? Or the manager's there. Realistically, Arteta's voice. Because I'm not saying I'm against or not against it, but I'm pretty sure man must have been saying, yo, do you need David Ryan when you got Ramsdale? Do you need to sign Calafiori? Is Mikel Moreno the right thing? Do you need to spend 65 million on Kai Havertz? Do you need Fabio Vieira? It's these sort of things. Hit the like button and keep sharing the video on the road to 70k. I badly want 70k. I'm going to eat some of my Monster Munch crisps while continue to listen to DG and watch West Ham versus Wolves. Appreciate that. Arteta in preseason said the owners are the best around. He'll never get sacked. I mean, you have seen on some occasions where managers have been kind of question marking their ownership, like Gary O'Neill a few years ago. But realistically, you're never, maybe in private, he's never going to come out and slag off the Cronkies. DG just blamed everything on Arteta, and it's his fault really with the tactics, game in, game out. When will you be the manager out? I didn't actually, but for argument's sake, in life, everything is your fault. In the same way, the Cronkies might not be managing week in, week out. It's their football club. Everything is indirectly your fault. Whether the players are good enough or not good enough or make mistakes and whatever, everything is Arteta's fault. Just like somebody said, 70k subs. I really want that. You lot say I'm underrated and whatever. It's my fault why I ain't got that. As much as I ask you lot to hit the like button and subscribe and do this and share it and that, and I wish you would, and that would help. Big up you lot. It's my fault. Why ain't I got that? Why? Find a way. Cool, we sack Arteta. And I'm not saying I can't care if Arteta gets sacked or not. But cool, he gets sacked. What now? It's a madness. Arteta holds on to players he should let go. But then again, you buy players, you put them on big contracts. Bro, like Zinni, big contract. Probably 2 years left. Is anyone going to be at the front there? Kivio is a bit different. Is anyone going to give the asking price? Fabio Vieira, he's doing okay at Porto, but he's not making noise. Anyone going to try to buy you permanently? Fuck. Is anyone going to try to buy Marquinhos permanently? Anyone going to be queuing up for Gabriel Jesus? You can talk about Dubai and all of this. Anyone going to do that? transfer fee and them wages. The club have tried to move on Partey last 2 years. Is he here or not? Thank the Lord you ain't got Raheem Sterling on a permanent basis, because boy, we'll be having conversations. DG, when are we going to reach the promised land? Sterling ain't had a chance. No, oak trees take longer to grow than pine trees. Love us. We appreciate that, man. Like that. And we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. That's why we could only talk. And that's why I say it's everybody's fault. I don't know if Arteta was preaching to sign this, that, and the other, and the club didn't, or Edu was saying don't do this, but he didn't. As I always give the example, for some of you, you know, God bless it. Hey, happy birthday, grandma, as well, man. When I used to go to my grandma's house, right? And you've got like 6, 7, 8, 9 cousins. Everybody's having a great time. We're ramping, we're running up and down, we're play fighting. And somebody, whether it was me, which 9 times out of 10 it was, but I ain't snitching on myself, or somebody else, somebody breaks a vase, someone breaks something. Now, I don't know about you lot's parents and grandparents. And to be fair, even when I'm older, everyone got beats, bro. Everyone got slapped. Nobody got, oh no, who is it that everybody's getting slapped? And more time, if you were stupid enough to snitch, you're going to get more snitches, more beats. Everybody's fault. Everyone holds licks in the same way. Big up everyone when we do well. I'm not here for the he say, she say, this, that, and the other. You all come out and say we want to do this, we want to be here. So you all to blame. You all sit here. And again, that's why I implore you, we have to listen to what the club say. They all sit here and say we're not stupid. We know it's not to a degree, right? But they all sit here and say collaboration. It's a collab thing. Yeah, if it's a collab thing, collab then, isn't it? You're all to blame. Shows you Arteta doesn't rate Trossard or Martinelli because he's changing his left wingers every week. There's no freedom of expression as the previous seasons where we scored loads, not relying on a strict defensive system and set pieces. All Arteta's tinkering. And that's where he needs balance, because he's gone the other way. Mid-block stops Saka and Odegaard from doing their thing, which leaves us clueless. That's the reason we struggle against a mid-block. I hear that, and it's easy for me as a spectator to sit here and say, yeah, we can improve that part. Unless I'm wrong, and I'm not being funny here, unless I'm wrong, but can I just ask this? Did we learn that this season? Did we learn that we struggle to break down low blocks this season? Because there's been a point where we have broke down low blocks this season and last season. Did we learn that this year? Or is that something easier said than done? Of course, as I said, it's easier said than done. But is that not something you're thinking about in pre-season? As I said, if this season was an album, it would be nicknamed Fine Margins. But come on, realistically, I do think Sterling isn't the answer. He and all of those things. But I do think at the end of the day, you got Donny. Give the man a chance, especially when no one else on that side is really and truly. And at the end of the day, we know we got Sterling rightly or wrongly because there was nothing else to do. Your sporting director walking out mid-season is alarming after you said be excited and trust the process. Edu, you've got one life to live. At the end of the day, yeah, whether I rate what Arteta and Edu are doing, from when you lot walked into where we are now, the health of the club is a lot better. As I kind of said, I think Edu's voice is kind of drowned out. As we said with the transfers, there's even some rumours that he's tried to, you know how City got the multi-club structure and Chelsea got the multi-club structure. He was trying to say, let's do this. People are not taking him in. If you want to be part of that and you're not getting it here, and the Forest manager tried to get you in the summer, and he's going to give you more money, more responsibility, and a multi-club structure, Ed, you'd be an idiot not to go do that. Be an idiot. The club collectively failed this season. Everyone needs to look in the mirror. There are only 4 men who can go on vacation and be happy they did everything they could. Saliba, Saka, Odegaard, Gabriel. If I honestly thought this squad was good enough, I'd get on Arteta more. We're making do in too many areas. Arteta must know we need more. He does. And you're right. But is Arteta getting the max? Is he drawing every drop of blood out of these players? Because there's many good examples of what he's done individually and collectively. But is he utilizing what he's got at his disposal to the maximum? No, he's not. There are some problems that are subsequential, but there are some problems of his own doing. Big up Riley in the cup. Drop Havertz and play Martinelli as a false 9. You know what? If it worked, I'd be great. But I'll be real. I ain't trying to see that. I ain't trying to see that. I mean, you know what? If nothing, as they say in life, if nothing changes, nothing changes. But yeah, apparently, you know, we are in Artetagatory. He's not good enough for us to do anything. He's not bad enough to get sacked. Fair play. I'm getting killed on social media, people. I implore you lot to all see all the comments, man. Absolutely killed. But yeah, man, VAR done me dirty. But engagement, mind games. Arsenal have dropped points in 7 of their opening 15 games, people. fine margins. Do you remember a few years ago when we were the only team with 4+ players on 20+ chances created from open play in the Premier League? You had Martin Odegaard and Saka with 25. Martinelli was there. So you could argue, you know, Granit Xhaka hasn't been replaced. Obviously, Jesus is a shadow of his former self, but haven't found a solution in that regards technically. Maybe dumbing the game down a lot more for Martinelli. Like, respectfully, I love Martinelli, but you remind me of them people in school that needed a teacher to sit near them, and you probably read like this, not making things too complicated. Wondergaard and Saka keep doing what they're doing. And again, defensively, we were so naive that season. This is why I wish we could take that Arsenal I saw with last season's defensive thing, mix that together. We're laughing, but we've gone the other way. We're either too naive in the final third and can't defend, or we defend too much, man. And again, as I said, and people moaned at me a few weeks ago, I said, we're not actually, using your eyes, we're not actually that good defensively. We haven't kept a clean sheet in any of our last 6 Premier League away games. That's our joint longest run without one during Arteta's time in charge. Now, blips happen, but back to the drawing board. Saka's created 18 big chances in 14 Premier League appearances. No Arsenal players created more in any of the last 3 seasons. When are we going to see some other man up there? When are we going to ease the burden on just him? Come on, man. We're the first side in Europe's top 5 leagues to create 10+ big chances from set pieces. So that's the one thing we're happy about. We just need to do all the other aspects. You are doing, Nicholas Over, you're doing your job. You need to tell them throw a couple more zeros on that new deal. Don't sign it yet, my brother. We have scored 15 goals from corners in the Premier League in 2024. That's our joint most in a calendar year in the competition. We also got 15 in 2023. We've also scored 20 goals from set pieces, excluding pens. Also our joint most in a single league. So take set piece FC corner, boys. You know me, I always mention that. But we need to see stuff in open play. We have to earn the corners, so there is elements of open play. Naturally, across a 38-game season, you're going to score more goals from that. But yeah, man, we're harming ourselves, man. And I do agree with this, man. It does feel like most our fans want to see Arteta win the league rather than the club and the players. It's like the cult thing, man. And Arteta does create his own issues, man. And I must admit, what happened to you too, man? Mainly you. What happened, Martinelli, man? I'm never turning my back on my boy, but it's a bench thing, man. Well, you're gonna have to play because we ain't got nothing else. I'm not gonna go over Mikel Arteta's comments, people, because again, 9:15 video to come out. We kind of have. Odegaard said we had big moments. He's definitely not lying. Allegedly, Arsenal have rejected an opening bid for a defender ahead of the January transfer window. Would it be wise enough? Would it be wise to sell Kivio? Does it make sense to sell him now in the summer? Is this rumors? Because he's always someone to link with a move away. Nonetheless, allegedly, Napoli have failed with an opening offer of 12.5 million for Arsenal defender Kivio. He's made just 2 starts in the Premier League this season and is believed to be frustrated over his bit part role. Apparently, he could return to Italy. Arsenal were open to the idea of the versatile Pole leaving on loan this window. To be fair, you do see conflicting reports in that. Juventus and Inter Milan have been credited. Napoli as well. If not them, you see AC Milan, Sevilla and Villarreal. It's the same old clubs that are linked with him. Arsenal are not even entertaining the proposal, and we demanded a fee upwards of 25 million, in brackets 20 million pounds, for Kivio to depart. Do I believe that? Probably not. Arsenal apparently being linked with Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Apparently Everton are to cash in on the 27-year-old who's preparing to end his 7-year stay at Goodison Park. He's got a year left on, well, less than a year left. His contract expires next June, people. We were linked with him many a year ago, but it don't make sense. He's linked with West Ham, Newcastle and AC Milan. I don't think he's the guy to take us forward, and he picks up a lot of injuries. Throwing an Arsenal tax, we're in problems there. Arsenal star Martinelli at threat from Axe by Mikel Arteta. You're a bench boy, but you're going to get a new deal, my guy. Dan, in relation to Dan Ashworth, I don't take too much stock in this, people, but The Athletic, this last paragraph says the 20, definitely not 20, I'm even dyslexic. The 50, you know what? I was looking at that. The 53-year-old is expected to have no shortage of offers. Several people in the game are privately pointing how Arsenal are searching for a new sporting director, and their managing director is Richard Garlick, a close colleague of Ashworth's from their West Bromwich Albion days. Although there are no indications of anything substantive at this time. I mean, some big ass words, but anyways, we've been linked with Joao Pedro as well. At least, you know what? At least it's a new name. We've been linked with him before, but at least it's a new name. You know, I think they're getting bored of linking us with Gyökeres, Isaac, Kudus, and Sesko, and even Jonathan David now. Nice to see a new name. Apparently, Arsenal are reportedly prepared to pay up to 54 million to land Brighton star Joao Pedro, who's also been linked with Liverpool. The report comes out of Spain, not taking too much in that, in relation to two English clubs doing business about a Brazilian international. I'm not sure. And it is also easy to link Arsenal with attackers, people. Good player, wouldn't be my first choice, but wouldn't be against it, people. Let me know your thoughts. Fair enough. Apparently, allegedly, another striker whose contract is winding down is Jonathan David. Both Arsenal and Man United are said to have open talks regarding the signing of Canadian forward Jonathan David. The Gunners are also said to have a battle on their hands for Real Sociedad midfielder Martin Zubimendi, with both clubs retaining their interest in him for the January window. Saliba still got interest from Real Madrid, but apparently he wants to stay. Really? And we just gone over the Jonathan David thing there. Apparently, Premier League giants, Arsenal, Chelsea, and Man United all remain interested in Vlahovic. I don't believe that anymore because I don't know why, but yeah, we were linked with him before. We need a striker, and Juventus are trying to get him to or to not sign a new deal. But the other day, and I say the other day, the last international break, during the Serbian international break, he was talking about how the manager of the Serbian level, he just lets him conserve energy and basically just play like a striker, not do all that pressing stuff. Rightly or wrongly, what do you see the gaffer doing? So maybe time's moved on. We've been linked with Edison of Atalanta. We have gone over this before. Love him. Don't know if he's the right profile because we need an 8, but we could do a lot worse, man. Spurs apparently are planning to sign Cunha from Wolves. He's another one in the last couple of days that's been linked with us. Man United could be the ones to pay Victor Osimhen's 62 million release clause in January. There's a break clause in his loan at Galatasaray. How long before he's linked with Arsenal? I would love Tyler Diblin. Apparently, the Southampton starlet is wanted by a couple of clubs in Italy and Germany, as well as United and Aston Villa. We should be getting involved. We need players that can play in the pockets. We've gone over the Ashworth thing. And we spoke about one sporting director with Ashworth. We have been linked with Luis Campos, not just this couple months, but for years. Apparently, there's a rift between Luis Enrique and Luis Campos. Now, Luis Enrique, I think, stays, but you see rumors that he's arguing with a lot of the players. And now if you're arguing with the sporting director, maybe the president or whoever's involved at PSG, they say, you know what, you're the problem. But could this help Arsenal get Campos? As if we are to get him, people. Apparently, the president isn't picking sides, so we'll have to see, people. Apparently, the Spaniard neither wanted Osimhen or Victor Gyökeres. I mean, Gyökeres come to the carpet, man. And isn't Luis Campos? Yeah, he's locked in extension talks over a new deal, and his current deal will expire at the end of the campaign. So I think we need to get involved in that. Apparently, our game against Manchester City in February has been moved to the 2nd of February, which is a Sunday, and that will be on Sky Sports. And finally, people, I know you lot have seen, where Man City is concerned, apparently there's been a verdict reached on their 115 charges, but nobody knows what that is at this moment in time. Apparently, David Coote has had his contract terminated by the PGMOL following the whole Liverpool stuff. Better get your ass to Saudi, innit? Really? Oh boy, I don't know what's going on over there for you. If you're on YouTube, Twitch, don't forget to use Amazon Prime. Big up you lot on YouTube. Smash the like button, people. 87 likes. Moss can get 100. Big up you lot. What are you lot saying? Good evening, Mark. And it is a big show. He is a cokehead. Why not sign Lookman? Would love Lookman. We need a forward that actually worries the opposition and not just us. Appreciate you hitting the like button. Joao Pedro is a sideward step, not moving me. Hit the like button, peeps, and share the video around. Arteta should hire us as advisors. Pardon me. Would sell both Kivio and Zinchenko if it got us Hatto right now. Move like we're serious. I hear it. I'd sell them both in the summer. Kivio could be rotated for the Cagliari Cup, but I'd sell Jesus for a bag of crisps. Xhaka was an elite midfielder. He was just good and knew how he needed to play in the team. That left centre mid's been some mythical thing. It's really, that is true. But one thing I miss about Xhaka, there's been a couple of times when times get tough. I'm looking around and you all look shook. At least Xhaka was for the trenches, man. And again, you're right. Like, I'm not trying to discredit Xhaka, but it's not like replacing like Paul Scholes, Busquets, Patrick Vieira, Petit, like, and insert any half decent midfielder, Kevin De Bruyne. Like, he's a very good player, but he's not them man's thing. Like, really and truly, there's too much being done in the midfield. To which, okay, maybe Arteta, you don't want that 8. You don't want that Cesc Fabregas, that Santi Cazorla, that at a minimum, I'd have thought someone like Bruno Guimaraes, someone could do a bit better. So I then have to look at it the other way. What's going on? And Xhaka did the right thing. He's like, yeah, you know what? Now it's time to cut. The amount of tabs open doesn't give you anxiety. It gives me, how is that even possible? There's a lot of things that give me anxiety in this life, man. Gigahertz or not, man. But I hear it. Tab police allow me. But how am I going to bring you all the content? Like, you know what? You're not going to see, but I could close them all now. How am I going to... How are we meant to go over it? Can't please everyone all the time, man. But yeah, just for you, I've closed bare of it now. Look, I'll let you look. Well, there's still a lot still, but come on, by from where it used to be. Come on, man. Surely that's a lot better. And to be fair, you lot can't see the tabs. Like, obviously, I've got two screens. Like, we're using that one and where I'm facing you. Like, if you can see the tabs on that, crazy. I think last season the squad was good enough, but Arteta weakened the squad. Bayern put a mean mid-block against us and exposed us last year in the champs. Don't really know how we haven't learned from that, seeing that we are still getting stopped by Fulham and being left ineffective. The squad reached 2 title challenges. This squad is good enough, but we have no winning mentality. We have the skill, not the mental, and that's on the manager to change. I hear you. But if we ain't got the mentality, then we're not good enough. And like, it's about getting over the line. You're all right. There's enough to challenge. They're technically challenging. You're not that far off the top, but getting over the line, I don't see mentality monsters. I don't really see players with a bit more glee. And, you know, a lot of people said our squad is complete. We just need 2-3 players, which I wish we had. But then if you were to go through, and again, not everyone's going to leave, but if you was to go through the majority of these players, who would you... Everyone's got a price, but who would you consider non-sellable? I love Tomiyasu, and for me, he stays. But through factors of not being fit, you can make a case of him, Gabriel Jesus, Tomiyasu, Gabriel Jesus, Zinchenko, Kivior. Obviously, he's not permanent, but Raheem Sterling not being here next year. Partey and Jorginho ages against them, but Partey, Jorginho, Moreno stays by default. But if you want to force it, you could. Some of you would probably sell Martinelli at this point. I don't think we should sell Trossard or Martinelli, just simply upgrade on them. But some people might say if those, regardless of the new deal for Trossard, if some of those Saudi Arabian links are really true, 30-year-old now, that might be a chance. And there's probably a couple, well, not selling Ethan or Lewis Skelly for me. But yeah, like, so my point of saying that is not to slag off the players, but have we really got this stability and depth and really just need 2-3 signings? I don't know. Is he utilizing Rice the best or Trossard? I think he could. Rice, I don't like him as an 8 on a consistent basis, but I think he's our best player on the pitch, give or take. Watching the game again, him and Partey probably 2 of our better players yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yeah, it was. See, Arsenal making me forget stuff. We gave Arteta way too much power. No point having multiple voices if only one be listened to. True. My only problem is Arteta changes too much, putting Partey right back and changing left wingers every week. That's the thing, balance, because sometimes he changes nothing, then he changes better, then he changes nothing. But these are all thingies I wish I could answer, man. Arteta is an Aries like you. Is he? Mikel Arteta. That might make me... Oh, you're not Aries if you're in March, are you? And if you are, you're not a real one. I thought Arteta was in April. I was about to spread some propaganda, man. Smith Rowe would have done a job. It's true. Listen, I didn't want Smith Rowe to go, but I get it. You got a chance to get a fee of a bit part player. He wants to leave, but we didn't replace it. Like, I'm definitely not gassing up Fabio Vieira's thing, but you let 2 attacking players go. Thank the Lord, Ethan's gassed himself. Well, not even gassed himself. Ethan's got himself into the kind of thinking to a degree. But if he wasn't a thing, but how light would we be? Because Jesus still can't stay fit. And to be honest, when you play, boy. I also did a 10-hour shift in my cab in London. Traffic starting at 5 a.m. this morning, so no breaks. Big up Inner Circle, man. Hopefully it gets better. Big up the 9-to-5ers. A man said Santa, please slip an Isaac under the tree, bro. Arteta's been a naughty boy, man. Santa ain't helping us. The squad is not good enough. For example, Rice played a long ball to Havertz. For a guy who's supposed to have one of the best first touches, he fumbles it. What's he good at? Space interpretation. I must admit, yeah. Who said Havertz has got one of the best first touches? Someone like it feels like whoever said that's allowed. Hit the like button. We need 200, 300 likes by the end of the stream, or you think DG is the shoe and long staff of right backs. Big up the members. I am really hoping the medical staff are taking their time with Tomiyasu's injury so that he comes back 100%. Love that man, one of our best defenders. Henry, I'm with you with that, but I just, at this point, even if they do that, I just don't think Tomiyasu's going to just stay fit like that. Like, we've been here, but fair enough. Odegaard's injury, Gabriel's injury, Saliba's suspension, these are anomalies, but they can happen. But where you look at, from what I've seen with the Calafiori, Ben White, we've played him with injuries, so we should know that. But where we look at Benjamin White playing him through injuries, Tomiyasu's record, Partey's historic record, touchwood, pause, that doesn't happen, Zinchenko's, slightly even Kivior's, like we see it all the time. So is anything going to change? Yeah, Lewis Skelly and Ethan excluded. DG knows he's the GOAT. I wish I was, man, one day. Boy. Start watching next man's stream, man. I'm going, man. When I get my single plats, don't bread, man. DJs have lots of technical level. I guess so. You're a German international, but boy. If your best movement is off the ball, typically, and like I'm not even dissing Havertz, but what I like about you is, in theory, your movement. I like your mentality. I think you are one that kind of gets it, and you're kind of selfless, and then you put in a shift. But once you say a player puts in a shift, looks a bit crazy. It's dangerous territory. Havertz still got a good first touch. Him fumbling a high ball is just a fumble. He's not world class. I mean, I don't know if you're the most technical in the squad, like, but you should have. You're a German international. You're Champions League winner. You're playing for Arsenal Football Club. You should have a good first touch. You know, if we eradicate like their form and their sentiment, for me, Odegaard's defo better technically than Havertz. Zinchenko's got all his faults. I'd say he's definitely technically better than Havertz. I'd throw Jorginho into that. There might be one or two that I'm forgetting. Well, Saka, I believe. Shit, Ethan as well. Young G Ethan. I'd say him. Have I said Jesus? Technically, yeah. That's about it, to be fair. I might be missing someone if that. Boy, Saka, Odegaard, Saliba, Gabriel Magalhaes, and Timber, the only unsellable ones to me. Boy. Havertz has weak movement. I slightly disagree. Havertz can put a shift on the bench. Plan C, that touch was baggy. Havertz should be plan B, man, but it's not going to happen. He's moving Partey to right back because he wants to jostle the first team about rather than putting in a youngster or Tierney who he doesn't trust, I guess. And then he's going to have to face the music in that regards, man. Yeah, man. But this is, I've got past the point of beyond constructive criticism. Havertz, you didn't buy yourself for 65 million. How have you become so important to the team? Not criticizing, it's more on the manager. And why has there not been an upgrade? Like, if we're bitching, pardon my French, about half the players, and don't get twisted, a lot of you, not saying anyone necessarily now, but a lot of you will get back to praising these guys when we go on some sort of run. Where does the buck stop? He didn't. We scammed ourselves, bro. Chelsea couldn't believe they're like 65 million for Kai Havertz. What you mean? We're only losing 5 million quid off the initial fee we bought him. Plus, we'll call it quits because he scored the Champions League winner. Safe. And I'm not trying to pile on Havertz. I think he's all right. You're cool for the squad. I wouldn't have bought you in the first place, but we're at. Where I am now is we need an upgrade now. You need an upgrade. Your squad done. And the issue is at this moment in time, bro, like Kai Havertz is up there, Gabriel Jesus is down there, and all the other options are Fugazi. You know, we can talk about Jonathan David, Sesko, Vlahovic, Isaac, who else is there? Gyökeres, you know, until we wake up, by God's grace, we wake up in January the 1st, and we sign one of them. We all know that's not gonna happen unless we wake up and there's a random academy Donny ready. It's not gonna happen, man. So Arsenal and Arteta and everyone on the recruitment side, they got to face it. They got to face the music, man. And I don't know what to tell you, lot. All I can do is tell you, look, I'm going to be with you to the end. But we've been here close to 2 hours, people. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to go and get my dinner, man. I'm hungry, man. 9:15, I've got a video coming out. I'd appreciate you, lot, if you all hit the like button and all of that stuff. This video will go over straight there. I spent all day doing it for you, lot. That's why I'm here late at this moment in time. But one of you said, before we get out of here, we're going to be doing a watch along for Atalanta tomorrow, Real Madrid, and also on Wednesday, Arsenal, Monaco. You look talk about individual brilliance, players that can make things happen, players that can get you out of trouble. Boy, and this is from the left-hand side.
Against this right back, Charlie, definitely.
Always like